Wagwan breadcrumbs. Tobias here on a solo film shrapnel. I've just got home from watching Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and I'm just going to give you my initial thoughts on it. I think I'm going to do a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to know any spoilers, don't listen to this one. But yeah, if you don't give a damn, let's do it. So the film, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not as good as the first one, and the first one didn't really set a very high bar, if we're honest. But the first one had its charm, and they have this sort of sense of friendship, which is, it's sort of like Goonies with superpowers. It does work, and then in this one, it's much of the same. That stuff, that sense of family. And friendship, all of that stuff is well done, but the film feels quite safe. It doesn't, it kind of feels dated. It doesn't feel like anything new in the genre. Like I say, despite being, decent character, despite having good, chemistry between the actors, everyone involved is pretty good. The whole cast, Levy's pretty good, or Levy, whatever his name is. He's pretty good. I just think all of the cast, when they're kids and when they're in their Shazam form, they're all really good. They're all really good. Apparently, one of them actually plays both versions of themselves. One of them apparently plays the young one and the Shazam form, apparently. I didn't notice, if I'm honest. But yeah, it was decent. Just not great, not mind-blowing, and believe it or not, I'm quite surprised with all the changes that are coming to the DC universe. They do set up further stories. They are world building, this continuing to world build, which is interesting when we are being told that we're going to get a whole reset of the universe. There are Peacemaker references in this. Spoiler alert. There are Peacemaker references in this to the point where Shazam might be joining the Peacemaker team, or at least the team ran by Amanda Waller. What is it? The Justice Society he's going to be joining. Which, is that not the Black Adam group, maybe? One or the other. But look, they are world building. They are continuing these stories. I've got a feeling this isn't the last time we're going to see Black Adam. Then Black Adam's not in the film, but I've got a feeling that Dwayne will be coming back, because they are continuing to world build. So I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if Dwayne doesn't come back at this point. It just feels like, if they're going to continue building out this world, then why not? Why not? So yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Big spoiler, there's a cameo from Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I'll talk about that in a minute. So the main antagonists are Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu. There's another actress. She's sort of an antagonist, but then she has a redemption arc. So she's more of a good guy. And it looks like she'll be joining the team now because, she's a good guy now with superpowers. Okay, cool. So the bad guys, they're the daughters of Atlas. And they want to restore the power of the gods back to the gods, which was, imprisoned by the Shazam, guy, the wizard dude that gave Billy Batson his powers. He locked, all the power of the gods away and has been using it to make Shazams, and they want their power back. So that's the plot. It's pretty bare bones. Some of the action's pretty fun. There's one part of the plot where they trap all of Philadelphia in a dome. So they literally do the Simpsons movie, which is kind of nuts. You know, oh, there's a dragon in it, guys. There's a fucking dragon in it again. So Marvel have done a dragon and DC have done a dragon. I'm guessing we're only going to get more dragons from this point. But yeah, it was okay. I just didn't love the villains so much. Helen Mirren is an amazing actress. And Lucy Liu, I haven't seen her in anything for ages, so it's really nice seeing her pop up in something, especially a superhero thing, which is totally up her alley. So it's nice seeing Lucy Liu. She's always great. But unfortunately, they didn't really bring much of their gravitas to the role. Lucy Liu is just a little bit more extreme than the Helen Mirren character. The other sister isn't remotely extreme at all. But Lucy Liu ends up having to become even badder than the others. And it wasn't, like I say, it's not great. It's not great. It's stuff you've seen before. Stuff that won't take you by surprise. The best stuff is all the character work, all of the chemistry between the characters, but I'll be honest, it's not as good as the first film. They've got a couple of good jokes. Some of the stuff lands, some of the stuff doesn't land, but overall, all the family stuff, all the family orientated stuff is actually the strongest part of the movie, I think. The action's pretty fun. I think kids will love the action. It's very cartoonish. They do some world building. So the way I'm going to big spoiler now. Billy Batson actually sacrifices himself to save the whole world and kill the dragon. And he dies, and everyone has lost their powers at this point. And the way the powers come back is the Wonder Woman comes and has a cameo, and then just somehow knows how to restore the magic in the scepter and then they can bring Billy Batson back to life, and everyone gets their powers again, and it's such a happy ending. And so yeah, I'm not too keen on that. It was a bit naff. It's just another one of those things that we've seen Wonder Woman do that we had absolutely no knowledge that she could do shit like this in previous. Do you not remember in the second Wonder Woman film, she just she just has the ability to make things invisible, which is an ability that they'd never established in previous lore. I don't even think in the comic books. Even she did have an invisible jet in the comic books, but she definitely couldn't make things turn invisible. That was never one of her skill sets. But then your first end credits scene, so we're going to go into the end credits scenes. Your first one was a Peacemaker one. I mean, they say Justice Society, and I think that's also the team in Black Adam. But yeah, and Amanda Waller's mentioned as well. So, and Shazam or Billy Batson has been made an offer to join the Justice Society. So that's some world building. Maybe he'll pop up in Peacemaker as well. That would be cool. And then the last end credits scene, and I really don't know the name of this character because I was never really a big Shazam guy in the cartoons or comics. So the bad guy from the last film, played by Mark Strong, we're shown him in prison, and we learn that he's been in prison for 2 years, and the little caterpillar, the genius caterpillar. I know he's like a super intelligent caterpillar in the comic books, and he's a bad guy, and he shows up to talk to him to set up another sequel, which we saw and in the end credit scene of the first Shazam. And so this is another credit scene, basically the same one, just with a little bit more humor. I don't know how they're going to make a talking caterpillar scary or intimidating, because he's going to be a villain. He's going to be a bad guy. I'm interested to see what they do. especially if James Gunn is overseeing this stuff, because I loved what James Gunn did with Starro in his version of the Suicide Squad. I never thought we'd see Starro in a movie because he's a giant starfish. I just think it's nuts that they would ever put him in one of these big budget movies, and yet they not only did they do it, but it worked really well. So yeah, if James Gunn's overseeing this stuff, I've got a feeling this talking caterpillar is going to be quite a interesting villain. Could be quite fun. It also could be pretty shit. Let's not forget, it could very well be pretty shit. Overall, I'd give it gets 6.7 on IMDb out of 10. I think that's kind of generous. I think it's pretty middle ground. I'd say it's a 5.5, closer to a 6 than a 5. But yeah, it's yeah, you know what? I'll go with a 6. Let's give it a 6. I'd say the first one's like a 6.5, and this one's a 6. It's fine. It's fine. It's inoffensive. The characters are pretty, pretty well written. I just wish they had more of that and less of the bad guys, if I'm honest. Thought the bad guys, unfortunately, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, didn't really provide much gravitas to those roles. But I just think they were pretty boring characters, in all fairness. I don't think it's their fault as actresses. I just think they were pretty boring characters. I will say, I think, because obviously you've got this angle that they're kids as superheroes. So you can have these themes of growing up run throughout all of these films and learning how to sort of grow up step by step. And there's longevity in that. And I think there's a lot of room for this to grow, this franchise of films. It's just that, they need to start telling a little bit more compelling of stories, because so far I don't think the Shazam stories have been particularly interesting. But there are some good characters in there, so it is worth continuing. Just let's get a really juicy story in the next one, or at least something so fucking out there, like so fucking nuts, like a talking caterpillar that's like the biggest threat any of these superhero films has ever seen. That would be really interesting to me. How could you make a talking caterpillar remotely threatening to essentially 5 Supermen? Superman-esque characters that are invulnerable and super strong and can fly and can shoot lasers and shit. Like, how can one talking caterpillar deal with 5, people like that? If they can do that well, I'm actually kind of pumped for this talking caterpillar. Anyway, much love, everyone. Thanks for listening. I've been your solo host in this episode, Tobias of Film Shrapnel. Please go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Film Shrapnel, capital F, capital S. Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time.